buy us $1 billion, put down the phone. Because once you get Bitcoin and it clicks in your mind, immediate reaction is, oh, I gotta hurry and buy as much as I can because someone else is gonna go take all my Bitcoin away from me. Like in 2020, when I started buying Bitcoin, I was thinking, oh no, I gotta do this in a hurry because someone's gonna figure it out and the price is gonna 10x. And I better get it before it 10x's. Why wouldn't every billionaire in the world go and buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, smash buy it overnight, and just to make $1 billion? Because why wouldn't they just want to make $1 billion? $5 billion or $10 billion or any amount of money. I mean, Bitcoin, it feels like in the early days the infinite money glitch, right? But
it's interesting because it's not only Bitcoin that has outperformed the S&P 500 by 400 or 500%. It's also MicroStrategy stock. And I think this is interesting because maybe it looks like today in 2024, other public companies are beginning to figure that out, that adopting a Bitcoin treasury strategy is actually very beneficial for them. We can see a little small company in Canada, DeFi Technology, just bought $6 to $7 million of Bitcoin. We've got a tiny little Japanese company, MetaPlanet, have come out and they've accumulated about $10 million worth of Bitcoin, and they've actually said they're going to take out debt in the future, tap the public markets to buy some Bitcoin. And we also have bigger companies like Semler Scientific also recently coming out and announcing that they're going to buy, well, they did buy $40 million worth of Bitcoin, and they plan to issue $150 million of stock to buy Bitcoin. I've got a two-part question here on this little topic that I've framed up. Are you surprised that it's taken public companies so long to begin to adopt this Bitcoin treasury strategy?
I guess I'm a little bit surprised. But yeah, because once you get Bitcoin and it clicks in your mind, your immediate reaction is, oh, I gotta hurry and buy as much as I can because someone else is gonna go take all my Bitcoin away from me. So like in 2020, when I started buying Bitcoin, I was thinking, oh no, I gotta do this in a hurry because someone's gonna figure it out and the price is gonna 10x. And I better get it before it 10x's. So, I mean, that's a natural reaction when it finally clicks in your head. Because you're thinking, why wouldn't every billionaire in the world go and buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, smash buy it overnight, and just to make $1 billion? Because why wouldn't they just want to make the $1 billion, or $5 billion or $10 billion or any amount of money? I mean, Bitcoin, it feels like in the early days the infinite money glitch, right? But the practical case is the world falls into conventional patterns and conventional behaviors and ceremony and ritual. And there are a lot of forces of conservatism that cause institutions and companies to move slower. So for example, in the last 4 years, one question is, will Bitcoin be embraced by the regulators? And that wasn't really clearly answered until January of 2024. So when the United States SEC approved the Bitcoin spot ETFs, that was a major endorsement that this is not tulip bulbs, this is not a scam, this is a legitimate institutional digital asset and digital commodity. So that was a very important point. Another thing that had to happen for corporate adoption is fair value accounting. If you bought $1 million of Apple stock and it doubled, you would have $1 million investment gain. But if you bought $1 million of Bitcoin under the previous indefinite intangible accounting and it doubled, you would probably be showing a loss. So a CFO that's indifferent, if they said, well, wait, I can buy this, and if it doubles, I'll make money, and if I buy that and it doubles, it'll look like I lost money. That was, I would say, prejudicial, hostile accounting. And that only just changed this year. And then the third thing that is required for institutional adoption in a big way is for the banking system of the world to start custodying Bitcoin, right? If I'm Google and I generate $1 billion a month, or maybe $1 billion a week some weeks, I have no problem wiring that money to JP Morgan or Citigroup and saying buy government T-bills. And a junior employee at Google does that wire transfer, and it's routine like this. But if I wanted to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, I can't wire the money to JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Bank of America or Wells Fargo. I have to go find a new relationship. I have to set up a new vendor, right? And that a lot of times these companies had the same bank for 20 years, 30 years. You know, now Citibank used to be National City Bank. National City Bank was the Rockefeller Bank. It was John D. Rockefeller's bank. Right? It's not unlikely that the oil companies have been doing business with the same bank for 100 years, right? So when we did it before those things. Right now, what we've seen is the ETFs have been important green check in this process. The accounting changes have been a second green check. There's still a bit of a debate right now, a controversy in DC over whether banks should be able to custody Bitcoin, because there's a rule the SEC has called SAB 121 that prevents banks from doing it. The House of Representatives and the Senate passed a bill revoking that rule. The White House vetoed the bill. And so there's a political debate there. I think at the point that you see the mega banks in the United States start to custody Bitcoin, the third leg of the stool will be put in place. And at that point, the treasurer of Microsoft could wake up in the morning and say, I think we should buy some Bitcoin. The CFO would say, okay, well, I guess the accounting looks fine. The lawyers, the general counsel would say, oh, well, the SEC's endorsed this, and there's 34 companies that have 34 ETFs with $70 billion of Bitcoin, so I guess it's a legitimate asset.
So I wanted to quickly interrupt today's interview to let you know about the biggest mistake in the Bitcoin space, and that is this right here. So many people go out there and they buy themselves a great hardware wallet, but they make the terrible mistake of backing up their Bitcoin private keys on paper. And we know, guys, paper does not survive water. It does not survive floods. It does not survive fire. It does not survive ambitious children or dogs who might end up with your Bitcoin private keys in their mouth, okay? They might chew on paper. We know this, guys. So please, for the love of God, if you have spent the money on hardware wallet, go the extra mile and back up your Bitcoin seed words on the generational storage solution that they should be stored on, which of course is titanium, which is why I'm so thrilled to be telling you guys about our flagship sponsor here on the channel, and that is Stampseed, okay? You can get yourself some Stampseed plates and you can punch your generational wealth into generational storage, and that is of course the titanium plates that you can get from Stampseed, okay? I'm thrilled to be able to give you guys a 15% discount on absolutely anything that you want to buy from Stampseed. So you can use a promo code Luke15 for that. And with all that said, let's get back into the show.
And then the treasurer could say, okay, to the person at Citibank or JP Morgan, buy us $1 billion, put down the phone. And it's just very stress-free, you see. And right now, we're not quite there. And that's the negative. It'll probably be another year or 2 years before we work through the banking issue. It's clear that it's going to happen, but it'll take a bit of time. And meanwhile, the opportunity is for these companies you named to get a leg up. And if you're the first mover, you have to do more work. It's just like someone that bought Bitcoin in 2013 had to do a lot of work, or 2017. So you have to do more work, but you get paid. And what I used to say to people is, look, when it's not controversial and it's easy, right, everybody will want it, right? Nobody will make fun of you for buying it, but you won't be able to afford it. Like you'll be able to buy 1% of what you could buy now. So when it gets easy, you'll have to pay up for the convenience of it, or you can work a bit harder right now, and the marketplace will give you a discount.
It makes a lot of sense when you frame it like that. We have two legs or two pillars of that stool, so to say.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for that third one. Now, you mentioned it, the political landscape in America. I'm surprised how quickly things are changing with the political landscape and their view of Bitcoin this year. Even last week, we had former President Donald Trump and potential future President Donald Trump come out and talk about how Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining could help defend it against CBDCs. Are you surprised at how quickly things are changing in the political landscape? And when you bought Bitcoin in 2020, did you expect we would be further along with Bitcoin acceptance in the political landscape in the US today in 2024?
So if you guys enjoyed that short little snippet of my interview with Michael Saylor, you are going to absolutely love my full interview with Michael. It was posted over on the bitcoinnews.com YouTube channel literally minutes ago. I'm going to put a link to that one up on screen somewhere around there.